CEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in weight loss, mindset, and business. Learn our top tips to set you up for success so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, and feel unstoppable. Hosted TLC's Freaky Eaters, Dr. Phil, and she's been on Dr. Oz, Rachel Ray, Access Hollywood, The Today Show, triple board certified nutrition expert and fitness Hall of Famer. She's passionate advocate of eating and exercising smarter, especially after 40, and the author of so many books, New York Times bestsellers, Virgin Diet and Virgin Diet Cookbook, the Sugar Impact Diet, and JJ Virgin's Super Impact Diet Cookbook. JJ Virgin hosts the popular Reignite Wellness podcast with over 5.5 million downloads. Welcome, JJ.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I'm so thrilled to have you. I really feel like the world needs you right now to help us address mindset in light of all the current insanity we're going through.
Yeah, gosh, it's crazy. When I wrote the book Miracle Mindset that I retitled Warrior Mom, it was like I wrote it for this situation. I just didn't realize it at the time, you know.
Well, I've read your story about your son and everything you've been through, and resilience just comes to mind when I think about you and how hard you really campaigned and championed for his health so that he would live.
Mm-hmm. And live and be 110%. He's better than before. But I think really the lessons that I used to be able to help save my son's life and stay, healthy and sane are more relevant now than ever, because like if you look at what's going on right now, what's interesting is everything's starting to shift to prevention, which is, being in the health field, that's always been the biggest challenge, is to sell anyone on prevention, right? Like, it's not sexy. But, having gone through a situation where I nearly lost my son, the first night when I was in the ICU with him and I'm standing there and he is hovering between life and death, and 13 fractures, torn aorta, multiple brain bleeds.
Oh my
Meanwhile,
gosh.
I'm like the sole financial support for my family. I have another son at 15 years old. He was 16. And I'd invested every dime I had into launching the Virgin Diet. It was coming out in a couple of weeks. If that didn't work, I'd be bankrupt. I wouldn't be able to pay for my son's hospital bills, et cetera. And I just stood there and I thought, the only way, first of all, you can't go to the ICU if you're sick. You can't have a sniffle and walk into the ICU. You have to go in there with the mask and gloves and gown. And I thought, the only way I'm going to be able to get through this is if I prioritize my health, my self-care, if I make it the absolute most important, no margin for error. And I really feel like that's the message we need to have right now, is that we have to put our self-care at the very top of the list. We need to be as strong as possible. And I'm not saying that could keep you from getting sick, but it certainly can make it better for you if you do get sick, to help you get through it. And so, it's really the message of it's not selfish to prioritize your self-care. I think it's actually very selfless to do so.
I agree so much. And I know so oftentimes people wait until there is a crisis or they are sick or one of their friends gets sick to prioritize, keeping a strong, healthy immune system. How important is that these days?
Yeah, it's like kind of everything. And I've been working a lot on creating some new information around this, because I thought, I never really outlined, I have in the book Warrior Mom, really like the mindset work that I went through in order to stay positive throughout that time. But I didn't ever really look at what were all of the steps that I took to make sure that I did not get sick. I mean, that was my biggest thing, was like, I can't get sick because I cannot go into the ICU. And so, so many of the things that you need to do to maximize your immune system, to basically get your protective armor on, are all within our control. And that's what's fantastic. I mean, the first step, of course, is to stay away and not get exposed. But beyond that, like getting great sleep, super important. Your positive attitude, super important. Managing stress, easier said than done, but there's some great hacks like tapping or meditation that can make big differences to that. Exercise, another big one. Getting sunshine. In fact, that was one of the big ways they turned around the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918, was getting out into the sun and getting into the fresh air. So, I mean, all those things I just named don't cost anything, right?
Right. Just regular sunshine and exercise and eating healthy. I know with all of your certifications in nutrition, um, what kind of particular foods can you suggest that will help us keep our immune system strong? And what should we really just not eat anymore?
We should not eat sugar. So I wrote the sugar impact diet. It's kind of like people, well, I figured she'd say that, but sugar, after you eat sugar, or what I call a high sugar impact food, because you might not think you're eating sugar, but that white bagel you just ate is turning into it. After you do that, you're actually lowering your immune system's ability to fight infections for a couple of hours. So the bigger challenge with sugar too is it's pro-inflammatory, and foods that have high sugar impact have low nutrient density. And the whole point of eating is to get those nutrients on board. I do believe you need to supplement, but you want to start with food. So, Brazil nuts, zinc and selenium. You get all your selenium you need from 2 Brazil nuts. We've been in that, I've been home for 4 weeks now. We've been eating 2 Brazil nuts every single day. Avocados, great source of glutathione. I make an immune boosting smoothie almost every day. And I always use my paleo bone broth protein with collagen to help keep the gut healed. And then coconut, because it's antiviral and antibacterial. And then avocado's got this glutathione, which is our big master antioxidant, super important. And strawberries for the vitamin C. So, I mean, there's so many foods that are so good for the immune system, and they're actually like, it's not like you're going to be suffering,
So we are what we eat, in
yes,
fact.
we are what we eat, and we are what we ate. And so that's the other big piece of it is, making sure you're not eating crappy factory farmed chickens and cows, because it changes, the fat profile in them, the protein profile in them, but especially the fat. So wild fish, grass-fed beef, we stocked our freezer. We started kind of prepping on this. Turns out my husband's a survivalist. But we have our freezers. We're ready for like 4 months here.
I love it. You're
Pastured
lucky.
pork, chicken, and grass-fed beef, and wild fish, and salmon and halibut from Vital Choice. And then we stocked up on bunches of frozen cauliflower and frozen broccoli rice. So frozen cauliflower rice, and then lots of coconut milk. And there's so many things that you can actually get here that are good for you. And people are worried about gaining weight right now. First of all, intermittent fast. It's going to be easier for you.
I love intermittent fasting.
Right? It's perfect.
I'm obsessed with it.
It's like first of all, easiest thing that you could do. You're now home, get 2 workouts in a day. And I heard someone saying, last thing we want to hear from people right now is all the things they should do. And so I'm going to give all this information. Don't allow it to be a source of stress. Pick a thing, pick one thing.
One thing, one change.
Pick one thing. Don't go, oh my gosh, just pick one thing. But I've been getting up in the morning, and I'll just walk through my day. It's the easiest way probably to showcase this is I get up in the morning and I've been reading a little bit of some kind of positive book and doing some journaling. I always write down at least 3 things I'm grateful for. And I have my black bulletproof coffee beans. And then I've been doing some kind of a workout, and I've been trying to do 2 workouts a day as much as possible. I've been working crazy long hours because of all the shifts we've needed to do to get information out to the communities. But I've been trying to do it twice a day as much as possible. And then after working out, having kind of a brunch. So maybe a smoothie, again, with like avocado and bone broth protein. I have a paleo protein like that, added collagen and fiber and coconut milk, and a little bit of either a green banana for resistant starch or some strawberries for the vitamin C. I drink a big vitamin C and quercetin drink every single day too. Super important. And then
Quercetin is in apples, right?
Quercetin's in apples, and it's in apples and red onions, and it's the citrus fruit, the like little white part. And quercetin's really interesting. I've always loved it because it's a natural antihistamine, but it also is antiviral, it's anti-inflammatory, and it can help with zinc getting into the cells. So the South Korean, I got this protocol from some of the South Korean frontline doctors on what they were doing. And it was vitamin C and quercetin and zinc and vitamin A and vitamin D. So we've all been doing that around the house, but I do a big vitamin C drink every day and add some quercetin powder in there as well. And then, we've been having a family dinner every night and rotating who cooks. So
I
that's
love it.
Yes.
I love it, all of those suggestions. I've been doing all of those except for the quercetin. I forgot to add that. So I guess an apple a day just keep the doctor away, I hope.
Yes. Well, and also apples are amazing. They're like, you don't want to drink apple juice because apples are super high in fructose, which is fine if you're eating fruit itself and getting the fiber. But if you're doing juice or apple juice concentrate to sweeten, you're getting too much fructose. But apples themselves have a really good pectin fiber that's really gut healing too. So apples can do some great things for you. I just don't like to eat them in isolation, like have an apple with some nut butter, or maybe cut a little bit and put into your breakfast, but don't just eat an apple as a snack because the sugar without some fat and protein is kind of problematic.
Yeah, I love baked apples myself, and I know you're super busy, so I want to leave our audience with some of your unstoppable mindset tips that have gotten you through everything you've been through with your son to where you are today. It takes a real unstoppable mindset to be a superpower in the world and showing up the way that you show up.
I have been so fascinated watching how people have been behaving during this, because I love what Wayne Dyer says, when you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. And I'm watching how people get squeezed and how they behave. And you're seeing people do amazing stuff, like some of these nurses on the front line and what they're doing. You're like, oh my gosh, it's just incredible. And then you're seeing some people do enormously creepy things, right? But more people are doing really amazing things. And I just look at this as like, what's our opportunity here and how can we serve? And I literally have been working 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day since this hit, because I went, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff we need to do to support our communities right now. And then to reach out to people I know who are alone and help them. And I think this is just an opportunity to do that. And if you are stressed, scared, having a pity party, the fastest way to get out of that state is to go do something for someone else. And most likely, wherever you are, how crappy you think life is. And, I've been in a place where I almost lost my son. I've been in like near bankruptcy multiple times. I've had all sorts of crap happen. So life is, it's not been a bowl of cherries, right? I think so often I go, gosh, if this was 10 years ago, I couldn't have afforded to have more than a week's worth of food. Like, oh my gosh. And that's why I'm highly sensitive. I remember my beginnings to what can I do to support other people out there. And I think the fastest way, if you're scared, having a pity party, angry, is just go help someone else. Get out of your own way. It's a real fast way to shift your state, along with, we all know gratitude's a big one. And I'll tell you, I'm most concerned right now about the fact that, we're self-isolating, but that's doesn't have to mean socially isolating, because social isolation is damaging to your health. And one of the things that I did when my son was in the hospital, it helped me so much, was reach out to other people to get support. And so that is one I would say is look at how you can connect on a regular basis with other people. And it's great that we have FaceTime and Skype and all these, and Zoom and all these things now. Think back 30, 40 years ago, it would have been a very different situation. So make it a point to stay connected. I actually have a list sitting right next to me of all the people that I want to make sure I reach out to today. And I've just been reaching out on a regular basis to people, just staying connected, which has helped tremendously.
Well, thank you so much. I think caring about others is what it's all about, and not being in your own head about a pity party and victim mentality. And thanks for everything that you shared today, your wealth of information. JJ Virgin, where can people find you?
jjvirgin.com.
That simplifies it. Well, thank you, JJ. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
This episode is brought to by Good Pod. Protein shakes are messy, expensive, and hard to make. Good Pod is a new amazing shake maker that's a blender and a pod in one. Take a pod, fill your glass with water or milk in 60 seconds or less. You have a healthy protein shake and it's ready to drink. Just like that.